This week, we're sharing our best productivity hacks.
We're focused on staying efficient and productive as our workload gets busier.
We're offering everything up from accountability tactics, task management, and using forced obligations.
And you're not going to want to miss Rebecca's new invention, the Zuma form.
Let's go! Hi, I'm Rebecca of Studio Plum.
And I'm Shaun of Renstead Interiors. We're interior designers
Turned internet friends.
turned real life friends.
Welcome to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
We're not that hot.
Or that young.
Every week, we'll be spilling the tea on how a new generation of interior designers can run their businesses.
Welcome to the club. Hi, Shaun.
What's up, Rebecca?
Oh, anxiety and stress. All good.
Oh, no. It's a sign of the times. We're making our way through the overused word of 2020, unprecedented times.
Oh, God. I know. You know what I'm really tired of?
What?
I'm tired of blaming everything on the years, like they're like the
year somehow
anthropomorphizing
controls
of the years. It's just like, okay, it's just a tired joke at this point, isn't it?
Well, and maybe because of late, we hear it so much more that you're like, all right, like, we get it. Enough with the dad joke. Like,
yeah, and enough with like trying to determine what 2021 is. Like, it's, I don't know.
Let 2021 decide
it's
who
like
and what it wants to be.
Exactly. It's like naming your baby when you're 6 weeks pregnant. Like, we don't know yet.
Leave poor little Agatha alone.
Right.
Stop trying to give it a personality too soon. Let it find its own way.
Exactly. Like, we don't need to put this on it. And manifest shit.
Yeah. I'm with it. It's tough. Like, I was trying to express to a couple friends who are in other geographic locations, like in the South and in the East, like their perspective, they're like, oh my God, I read this article. What's going on around you? And I'm like, where have you been for a year when we've been talking and I've been telling you what's going on? But meanwhile, depending on where they've lived, their experience with life for this last year has been very different than Greater LA, Southern California, around the pandemic, around things being shut down. So when I was talking about showrooms being closed and stuff not being open even by appointment right now, people are like, what? Because they're just going about their lives.
Yeah.
And we're all experiencing everything in very different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys are way more shut down than we are, and we're in the same state. I mean, we just opened.
I don't see it
level.
happening anytime soon for a lot of places. So it's going to be interesting. We should kind of move into the fizzle and sizzle of it all.
Yeah.
To talk about some of those interesting things. So speaking of stressful things, stress is causing my fizzle. Stress is causing me to have breakouts, and they're not mask knee breakouts. They're not they're just like definitely stress breakouts from a 36-year-old man.
No.
And I think that's just, I got through most of last year relatively unscathed because I felt like maybe there were times I had more control. But today's episode, I think, is sort of a sign of that, because it's about how do we take back control of situations and how do we sort of try to influence what's happening in our lives, in our work. But yeah, fizzle, stress breakouts. I'm not a beauty influencer, but I have like a whole regime. Like,
you do? Do you have like the steamer? And I kind of want one of those.
But like I do the old trick my mom taught me when I have them too, is to put some toothpaste on them to like help with that. But like,
Cauterize.
yeah, but I do the whole like wash and exfoliate a couple times a week. And then I have a toner and I have the whole like vitamin C thing and my vitamins. But honestly, what that's saying is despite all of that stuff, the world is
It
still
ain't happy.
stressful and
Yeah.
it's coming anyway. So I'm trying to work through that. I don't love this journey for me, but on the better side of something that could have been stressful but turned out really well is my sizzle of the week. I had talked with you about it for a client where the client essentially it's their vacation home. We're working on a bigger project for that. After some like, you go to the consult and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then you go back on your own to collect measurements or like not being distracted. And I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be so much more than we originally thought. Like I start opening up electrical panels and I start looking in things and I'm like, those tiles look like they're going to have asbestos. And this looks like that's going to be a problem. Is that a cast iron pipe? And so then you're like, this house is going to need a lot more. It's not just a refresh of a bathroom or whatever. So I like hyped up this call that I was going to have with the client about, hey, the budget is definitely not going to be enough, but also they were like having these dreams of spending the summer at the house. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not happening this year for sure. Like, and I built it up and I was like, oh man, like bearer of bad news, which is, very of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out much better of like, no, you're kind of confirming what I was thinking. And I was just kind of hopeful, but I know I want to do it right. Like we talked about that from our first meetings, that if it goes, there's going to be more investment or there's going to be more time spent. I want to do it right one time with the right team of people instead of like half-assing it essentially and then having to do things again. And so the upside was
Right.
the budget's been
Or like
increased and the
not.
timeline pressure is removed.
Oh, well, that's major.
So yeah, like now when it's like,
What more
why don't
could
we
you
just
ask for?
like
Blank check.
that's kind of like I'm okay with doing that, but it needs to be valuable. Like what we're doing has to fix things and we don't want to worry about it. And if we could really just aim at being able to spend the holidays with our, they have family who live locally. So it's like, if we could just focus on end of year holiday time to be able to enjoy the spaces. And I'm like, that's much more realistic. I
Yeah.
can't promise anything, but we're in a much more realistic place if that's happening. And it makes it easier. So here's
Great.
to you. That was my sizzle of, I hyped it up, but hopping on a call actually resolves so much that doing it over email would just not have helped.
It's true.
So we can do it.
We totally can do it. I feel like we're kind of in the same world right now. My
I feel like a lot
fizzle,
of them are. A lot of designers right now are feeling it.
yeah, my fizzle, it's just a lot happening. Had a lot of frustration with timelines and things being out of stock and communicating that to clients, and it
It's
just
like
feels really
Groundhog's Day.
yucky. Yeah, and it's just like weighing on me, and I just feel like overly sensitive to it, and like I'm always like, people are always mad at me. And then I decided also to wean myself off of one of my anxiety meds.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, because she's like, you're not on a very high dose, um so it shouldn't be a big deal, like just, you know she gave
Famous
me a
last words.
she gave me like a little pattern or whatever to do. So,
Okay.
and then like 4 days into it, I started realizing, all right, yesterday I just had like these really bad headache, and everything just felt like I don't know, everyone was just mad at me all the time. Like it's really terrible. I think that's how my anxiety manifests. Anyway,
Okay.
then I put it all together and realized like, oh, duh, you're changing your meds, but it's okay. I'm glad I'm doing it. Um, but it's just fizzy. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, like the weight of the world, like what you're saying with your skincare regime, it's just like we've been saying this for a year, but it's like a lot. Like the world is so heavy and we've been dealing with this for so long. It's
Yeah.
just it's I think just like low key affecting us in every single thing.
I mean, yeah, it's pervasive in all directions of our lives.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we're not all, you guys, like Rebecca and I have plenty of silly LOL conversations on Instagram and on Marco Polo. And like, we're still getting some lighthearted moments where we like laugh at something Cecily said and we're having that. But there's
Most
a
of the
lot.
time I feel like I'm like that, but then I just think the baseline of or I guess the undercurrent of the world is just out of buzzing behind everything that
Yeah. Like if the base level of the background noise of the world used to be at a 3 all the time, it's now
mhm.
constantly running at like a 7.
Yeah, we're just
So
kind of talking louder.
yeah.
Sometimes it's
You're
like
in a loud restaurant, but there's a crying baby. So the baby is now crying louder and louder.
yeah, we've been at this meal or on this airplane. It's like more like on the plane for
And you were
10
like,
months.
oh, they just detoured us to another airport. So that's going to add 45 minutes of more baby crying.
Right. And so I'm not like freaking out and pacing the aisle because I have to keep this shit on track and not like lose my mind, but still like that baby's still crying.
This
And I
is
feel
the
bad for the
best.
mom. Like I feel bad for that mom. So I am like definitely have my heart going out to her, but still
But
like shut
I have to
that
keep,
kid
yeah,
up. I'm gonna
stop
lose
kicking the
it.
back of my seat, please. And where are my peanuts? Like,
God, it's true.
that's the
So
best analogy we've ever come up with.
yeah, because it's like, are we ever going to arrive at this destination?
Yes.
And we don't know. We keep
We're the,
circling.
yeah. That circling the drain.
Now we don't even want to go. Like we're
Now we're not excited for vacation.
but we also don't want to go home.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Let's
so
balance that
yes,
out a little.
that feels rough. But the sizzle, I this is a good conversation we're gonna have today because I feel like I'm just taking care of business.
Mhm.
And I'm just I'm just doing it. Like I'm just not second guessing things.
Uh-huh.
Like you were saying, I'm having hard conversations that really aren't that bad once you have them and not avoiding
Yeah.
it. Um,
I always feel better after them.
yeah, everyone does. And part of that is I've started working with a virtual design assistant team
Yes.
and I've been outsourcing stuff. Like I just started outsourcing some drawings and I haven't gotten anything back. Like nothing's actually done, but I feel like I've just conquered the world.
I just feel like I I feel a sense of relief for you hearing it. So I can't imagine your own sense of relief with it. Like,
Well, because I'm also not
uh,
that good at it. It's
it's stuff
it's
you don't want to do anyway. So you
I
drag your
don't want
feet
to do
doing
it. I'm
it
not good at it.
and you
And
get frustrated and tired with it. Like,
and I have it on my to-do list and I'm not getting it done. It's just so many things. So yay. Yay
it's the
for
journey.
JFDI. Yeah.
Yay for you. Um, man, there's a lot of stuff we need to do. That's part of it, is just getting stuff off your belt, off your plate. And today's episode is kind of built around this because I feel like you and I were saying, like, we've kind of talked about some of these, but never in a cohesive strategy of like, why do they all work when you start putting the picture together? So for our listeners, like some of the ideas in today's episode might sound a little bit familiar, but we're looking at them all from the lens of productivity, productivity hacks, efficiency improvement, maybe even a little bit of like motivation improvement to highlight what you just said about having the assistant do stuff makes you happier to do other
Right.
things.
And I think I always like to weave in a little bit of like when you're getting in your own way based on your own personality type. My personality type gets in the way of everything. So I have to hack myself a lot of the time.
Look
And
over
that's,
here. No, look over there.
yeah, okay, you want to do this.
You don't want to do this. You want to do this.
Oh
You're
my
like, okay,
God.
but really, we have
But
to get some stuff done every day.
sometimes you just got to play tricks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
So
do
I
it.
think we just like kind of
Run it down.
run down. All right. So the thing that we've been doing as a little design pod group, you, me, and Claire. So we taught, like we say this all the time, but if you're new here, Shaun and I have a friend named Claire who's also an independent designer, and we are on our little Marco Polo on the daily.
Constantly.
So my kind of theme for this first couple weeks of the year has been eat the frog. And if you
What
don't
does it
know
mean?
what that means, please hold.
We know what it means.
You do?
Or in general, right? Like there was an analogy or a euphemism or something that went with it, right?
It's a Mark Twain quote. So it started as a Mark Twain quote. Yeah.
Oh,
If
he's just
I'll
a
read it.
fountain of inspiration.
He really was. If it is your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat two frogs, it's best to eat the bigger one first.
Yeah.
It's gross, but it's definitely like, yeah. So, and every day, like, I feel like we all have our frogs, we all create kind of these burdens on ourselves mentally that if you just do it, especially early, it's not weighing on you and then it doesn't get as big. So,
yeah.
We've been doing that with each other just as our own little accountability of like stating what frogs we have for the day and handling them.
It's
Just
good
talking
to
about them
start
out
the
loud.
day. Yeah, then you're like, okay, well, I just said I'm gonna do it. That's
And that
gotta
sounds
be, let
really
me
dumb
do.
that I'm worried about it. Like some of it's like, what am I even worried about? That
I
sounds
need to send this update on these orders. And yeah, some of them are back ordered or delayed, but like I've got to do it. So can we get that out of the way so I can open up my creativity for the other stuff I need to do? And it's not eating at me at 4:45 p.m. Like, do it.
right.
I like it. It's been helpful. And it can, I don't know, just like find ways to get it out in the universe. I've been really trying to reinforce this idea that when we say things out loud or we put them out there, they start to lose their power over us because we're not the
Yeah.
only one anymore.
Carrying the burden of it. Yeah.
It's sort of like coming out over and over. Like if I say it, people can't keep controlling me with it or saying something about it or doing something. So if you're just like, hey, guess what, all my clients, delays are happening. It's not a matter of if anymore. It's they are and they will be long and we're going to be patient and get through it. So be chill. And then there's no one being like, oh, again? Oh, another delay? Like
Right.
they don't have control anymore to say, why are you so behind? It's like, I'm not behind. This is what's happening.
And then when it only takes 6 months to get a dining chair, everyone's excited.
Yeah, let's be happy about that. So that's eat the frog, get it out of the way.
I have okay, so I spent a lot of the holiday break going through things like old files and deleting 6,000 emails.
Oh, I can't. I
And
can't.
I had a
Ugh.
running like 400
Oh.
unread things in my inbox every day.
Oh, it's like when you say that, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I
Yeah, so part
can't.
of my issue was I didn't have like a process of how to process my inbox
Yeah.
that I was like happy with. So I did this whole thing. There's this guy who runs a company, like a blog called The Sweet Setup.
Okay.
And so he has a calm inbox workshop, like online thing that I ended up doing. And nothing was like, he didn't invent anything, but it did really help like the mentality of it. So
Okay.
one thing like every email has a job basically. And one of the things I set up was a task list manager that I could. So every time I get an email that is a to do, I can send it to. I decided to start using Things again. I don't know if you've ever heard
Is that
that,
an
but
app?
it's an app in my email program. I can send it to Things, so it becomes a to do automatically, and then I can archive my email. So he says just
Okay.
archive all your emails and then just search them later.
Okay.
But if you,
That's from the Suite
which
setup.
that's what he says. I am still putting project emails into projects because I need to find when I need to find all the invoices
Yeah.
for a client. Like I can't, I don't know who sent it to me.
Yeah. The
From a
searchability
vendor,
function and yeah, like to be able to find out like where is this? What's going on with it? Totally.
or even just like make sure I captured all of them. And yeah, so I have a few caveats on what he does, but anyway, like I really like this. I can also send straight to Asana,
Yeah.
so everything kind of gets a home, and my inbox, it's not zero, but it's tame.
Better.
Way
I
better.
can't I can't use just one thing to make everything run smoothly. Like
No.
there's no way to make any one app program process thing. Like there's no magical one app or program I'm going to buy that's going to handle everything we do because we do so many different things. It won't
Yeah.
just work with one. Like
No. So I do like this. Because I was getting stuck. Like I want to start using Asana more, which we'll talk about next. But it's not for everything. Like I have to renew my insurance. Like that, I'm not gonna put that in Asana. I
because it's
guess
not a
maybe I could.
project. I mean, you
Maybe
could
I could set up an
create
admin project. You're right.
and I have that in my Asana setup is just sort of like it's like a drop area of just like, hey, put a date on this. Like we need to get it done, but it doesn't belong as part of a client project. It doesn't belong as part of a large business project. Like,
I mean, ultimately, I could probably set Asana up and eliminate that, and maybe I will. Because now I'm thinking, like, actually,
you
somebody
could,
invited me to be on a podcast. Like, I could put that in a marketing and PR project.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe I will do that. But right now, I didn't want to not
You
capture
just,
my stuff before I set it all
yeah.
up. So that was really easy. Things, it's just like a nice running list. It's really clean.
Yeah. I
And you
mean, it's
can
better than
organize it.
nothing. So if you wanting to get productivity started and get something going, you got to begin somewhere.
Yes.
I don't do well with paper lists. I discard the paper. I need like that's where Asana is helpful because I can tie dates to it and restrictions and timelines and all of that. And that's why I've liked being able to use Asana, which we've talked about in several other episodes, that it just gives me accountability and I respond as much as I like doing whatever I want on certain days. It's not an effective way to get everything done. So
No.
that's the old banker in me that comes out where it's like, this needs process and accountability
Does he
and
wear like a little
steps.
bow
And
tie and he has like a
I did
little
used to
banker's
like
hat and stuff?
banker Sean used to do some. I used to dress freaking fly to go to work. Like I really liked it. I also do not want to wear that for my design job every day. Like I know there are designers out there, male designers who are like
Oh yeah,
in
they're
the
like,
suit and tie and they're doing the flashiness, and but that's just not, that's only a part of me is like dressing up, looking fly for that. But designer Sean wants to be relaxed, cool, and wants to have more intention and doesn't want to be distracted by trying to be like flashy dress from the work that I do. That's just not me. And
yeah.
I feel like that's part of the life, like we're selling lifestyle. Part of what I want to do is encourage people to feel cool and relaxed and like focus on their energy in their homes, focus on like layers of things. And that's just not a suit and tie. Like I don't wear a suit and tie to hang out in my house.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I could see if you were really into expressing yourself sartorially every day, and I get why people are like that, but especially right now, that just sounds like so
I ain't
much.
putting on any of that to sit at my computer all day and no one's
No.
around to see it and be like, oh my God, your new wingtip shoes are so cute. And
And
oh
like
my
have a
gosh,
dry
where did
cleaning
you,
bill for no
yeah,
reason.
like
Yeah.
where'd you get that pocket squirt? It's like, no, please, we're not doing that right now.
You
Just
could just
enjoy
get
my
a little
hats
like
and flannel
shroud.
shirts. Shroud. A veil.
Well,
I could.
like a more than a dicky, but like a full, almost like a salon cape, you know? It does attach, but it's
Capelet.
like, yeah, but it's like a full bow tie, cute little collar,
Wait,
like,
so what I'm hearing is like the equivalent of, do you remember when sweaters would come and it would only have a collar sewn into it at the top
yeah.
part, so, and like a little cuff, but the inside of the sweater didn't have a button up in it?
Yeah,
That's
but
what
it's
I'm
just like
hearing you
a,
describe.
it's
Stop.
just like a capelet. So there's
So I
nothing
just like pull it on
constrictive.
like a hoodie, but it's a
Or it
dress
could have
tie or
little
hoodie, and I can pull it
Velcro
off.
snaps. You can have
It's
Velcro
a
in the
pull.
back,
It's a
like,
pull away
like a
for a
breakaway.
reveal. Like, and underneath I have sweatpants.
Honestly, somebody can make $1 million doing that.
Like Zoom meeting time.
Yeah.
Better put on my Velcro. You know, okay, hold on. This
Oh,
is
it's
what
called
we're
the
actually
Zoomiform. It's called the Zoomiform.
patent pending. Um, what you're describing, what you are describing, Rebecca, is dog clothing.
Yeah,
Where it
with the
has
little fake
Velcro
legs.
things and it has like, that's, you're describing a dog
Yeah,
costume
a
for
dog
humans to
costume, but
look
not,
fancy.
but not a hot dog. Yeah.
Like instead of pirate dog costume, it's business Zoom
Up top.
costume.
Yeah.
And it's called the what again?
Zoomiform.
Got it. All right. Okay, let's
Can
keep
you tell I
moving.
used to be in
You're in
advertising and
yeah,
marketing?
creative advertising marketing. So everyone get your Zoomiforms. It's just
It's
100
like a
easy payments.
snuggie. Oh my, or it could be like a full snuggie, so you could get like the full body cozy, but
And the top
somehow
part
it's
of
a
the
little more
snuggie
fitted
is
in the top, and it's like
uh-huh. And it can be yours for just 100
handsome.
easy payments of $1.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay.
And we digress. Hey, Shaun, have you signed up for the Hot Young Designers Club newsletter?
Oh, no.
Really? Is this you not wanting to clutter your inbox with a lot of excess junk?
No, no. Let me do it. Where do I need to go?
You need to go to hotyoungdesignersclub.com, scroll down until you get to the subscribe button. You just pop in your email address and your name.
All right. I'm doing it right now. Is this going to be a bunch of spam?
It's not. It's actually not going to be anything until we actually get around to sending something. But we have big plans and we want to be able to send surveys to get feedback from our audience. And maybe once in a while, a special surprise or a recap.
All right, I'm on it.
Thank you. Back to the show.
Back to business. We're trying to be
Back to
productive over here.
productivity.
Can you tell me what the Pomodoro method is? Because it sounds like a pasta lunch that I would love to have.
It's delicious. The Pomodoro method, the Pomodoro technique is
Pomodoro.
it was designed by somebody who they had like one of those little tomato spinny kitchen timers.
Okay, like an egg timer kind of thing.
Yeah, but they're, like
But
they're
this one's a
tomatoes.
tomato.
Tomato.
Okay.
So here I'm on there's an
The,
actual like
the
official.
official.
So you choose a task that you want to get done. It could be
Mhm.
big, small, something you've been putting off. It could be an eat the frog. These
Okay.
dovetail very nicely together.
Hey.
And you set your timer for 25 minutes. I actually keep a timer. It's not a tomato, but it does kind of help to see it. But this is what
Yeah.
we used to do too in our little accountability Zooms. It's a similar
Idea.
concept.
Yeah.
So you just tell yourself, I'm going to spend 25 minutes on this task. Turn off your phone, turn off your social, turn off your email, and that's it. So you work on it until the Pomodoro goes off. And then you're done. So then you can take a break. So you can kind of set, like sometimes when I was doing it, I would set like a treat at the end, like grab a cup of coffee, make a call, get on Instagram, doom scroll, whatever you want to do.
What's doom scroll?
Doom scroll? That's what, like when you're just going down the doom rabbit hole on social media.
Okay. I didn't I'm
I
that's
haven't heard that.
new to me. But the idea is like you can do like back to back. You do like Pomodoro 25 minutes, take a break, do another, take a break.
Yeah. So like this says every 4 Pomodoros, you can take a longer break, like
If
a
you have a
20 or 30
Fitbit, this
minute.
would be good because it'll tell you like every, so many minutes to get up and move or do something. So that could kind of keep you like, oh, when it tells me it's time to do something, that means my Pomodoro time frame is over. Like I'm off the
Yeah.
hook. I'm done spending time on that task.
You could set your whole day up around this system. I'm sure there's like apps
This,
and shit you can buy, but
yeah, like they want you to take, I'm looking up some details, like it's try to do like 4 of them and then take a longer break, like really give yourself a good breather. Because then by that point,
like
that
a
would be
lunch
about two
break.
hours
Yeah.
of work. So you're ready to get a real breather in there. And at least it keeps you focused faster. For designers, that also helps keep a lot of us are hourly. That's going to help us keep our timekeeping a little bit
True.
more streamlined because you're like, well, that was 25 minutes I spent doing that. Done. Like,
And sometimes I'm like dicking around on my computer with emails and little things and this and that, and hoping like the creative mindset is going to grab hold of me and get
yes.
me to focus on something. But that rarely happens. I have to make myself. So this is like a way to like cut the shit and just make yourself handle something.
Yeah. Basically, we're all needing ways to do that more. Because, yeah, if your will is low, but you still have to get stuff done, we got to do it.
Especially when you're a creative mind. Like sometimes like I wait to be like I think I have to be
Inspired.
inspired by genius, but it's not mostly going to happen when you're doing it day in and day out.
No. Yeah, we need space in our days. Part of that is one of the things that I've been doing to give myself space is I have like my minimum hourly billing goal for each day, and it's not my whole day. So this is the stuff I need to like get out and get done. And then when that stuff is done, I usually try to get all of that done early in the day. The other portions of my day can be spent on trying to like find inspiration, have moments of creativity where things are less planned and more just
Organic.
organic and natural and spontaneous. Like it doesn't just hit you when you're constantly filled with a checklist. So that's been really helpful for me to like front load it, get this stuff done, get my minimum hourly goal done. And if that's the day where I'm just like, okay, now the rest of the day is focused on creative, like let's let it happen, then
Or you
let's
can
do
work
it.
on your business or marketing or whatever.
Right.
Like sometimes I feel like that when with so many client demands, like I don't feel like I'm allowed to work on some of that stuff.
But if you
But
know
you
you've like done it
if you've done
already,
four pomodoros and you feel good about this each of those sessions, then yeah, you like earn
move
something else
on.
that you like to do or whatever.
Yeah, I like it.
Similar to that, which I've talked about before, is like my little work retreats, my retreat yourself. It's almost like a forced 2-day Pomodoro where it's like definitely a similar situation where I have taken 2 to 3 days off to leave my family to their own devices. I have goals going into it, and I don't feel like it's okay for me to just be on Instagram all day
I mean,
or
yeah, it's
read a book that I like. Like it's
you're not on vacation. You're
no,
there to get work done, and you're forcing yourself to really condense your
and
goals, your
focus.
strategies, whatever. It doesn't have to just be annual, like once annually. It could be like, I've got a lot to get done and it's not happening the way I'm doing it. So I'm going to pull myself aside.
I haven't set any goals around this, but I want to do it at least quarterly. Honestly, I could do it monthly.
Well,
Not
especially because you've got more distractions in your household.
Yeah, and I'm easily distracted. So I get a lot done when I'm doing them and I like move the needle in certain ways, like whether it's writing processes or working on my website or something.
Right. Oh,
Um,
yeah, we have to force ourselves to get things done because I respond really well to having pre-planned obligations that I mean I have like I've already scheduled your design presentation unless something really important derails that process. We It's already scheduled. We've planned it. It's been done way in advance. That meeting is happening. That presentation is happening. That call is already on my books. Like those really help hold me to like an obligation, but that I need to do it anyway. It's not optional. Like I'm not pushing off a dentist appointment. I'm pushing off a design presentation that I'm still going to have to do in order to keep the project moving.
yes, I love this. I've been really hesitant to do them, but I have been as of this last couple weeks. I have like three coming up in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, it's just like keeps everything moving. Obviously, like deadlines are really motivating, but also like right now, I can't just start casually working on furniture, a furniture design project
Mm-hmm.
because it's not gonna maybe be there in 2 weeks. So it's like
No kidding.
we gotta like turn this shit over and lock it down. So
Yeah, you want to have a tight lead on when you're creating that work and when you're getting quotes and pulling all the
when you're
numbers
gonna buy
together.
it.
Yeah.
And the
And
client
I
kind of
think,
needs to know that too. Or they definitely do. Like once we present and you like it, like get your
we need to
checkbook ready,
go,
girl.
yeah, have your checkbook at the meeting. Let's do it. Like, done. Um, don't waffle because in the 5 days that you're waffling back and forth, we now don't have half the things that you wanted.
And now I have to reselect and you have to pay me to do that. And
Yep.
we're all bummed.
Yeah. So, kind of minimum obligations, kind of put them out there. Um, Lately, you've also been doing, you're like hopping on stories or on Marco Polo much earlier in the day.
Me? Yeah.
Yes, you. You're like doing the before your household is even moving, you're up and at 'em.
Okay. So I've had this issue since I had a baby 6 years ago that my kid sleeps in kind of for a kid. So she's always woken up at 7, which is a great time to wake up. And that's kind of my natural wake up time. If I like if she comes in my room at night or our room and she's snuggling with us, like I don't get up, and then I'm getting up and I'm like constantly rushing out the door. So last year, I think I started doing the Miracle Morning, or the year before, which is a book that you can read in about 5 minutes. But he
Okay.
has like he has a cool, like, it is very helpful. He's very like, has a ritual about it to help you get up early if you're not a morning person, and what
Okay.
you do with that time. Anyway, so I have been doing it for the past, God, it's been like 3 weeks where I've been getting up at 6. Part of what I've been doing is I bought a hatch alarm,
Okay.
and it's one of those daylight kind of alarm things. And I never really thought, I don't get it. Like, am I really going
It's
to
not
wake
my
up?
thing.
Well, I'm just going to sleep through it. But no, like it's very gradual. It's very like zen and like a calm wake up. And
I
I feel
like
like it
that.
usually catches me like in a low sleep cycle, you know?
Like when you would have already been sort of ready to come up out of things.
Yeah, like it's chill, so like your brain responds to it when it's kind of ready, like,
Okay.
on the sleep cycle wavelengths. Anyway, and then it'll casually start making more noise, and you can program it all on your app. Like, it's really cool. So
Man, as soon as they have that stuff
I
in a
like it.
microchip, I am ready to have that in my head.
It's like in your eyeballs.
No, like where it just knows, like, oh, you're coming up out of a sleep cycle. This will be the best time to wake you up. Like,
Have those. Have you seen?
in your brain?
I Not in your brain, but
No.
in your phone, which is kind of the same thing.
Oh, no, I don't want that. Like, I want it to be like tied into all of my anatomic responses and like know, like, oh, this is the optimal time to do it. Like,
Okay,
that's what
but
I
they do
want.
have that. It's not in your body, but if you sleep with your phone under your pillow and it starts to learn your REM cycle by how you move, and it
Right.
does vibrate when
And
you're
you could
at
do
a,
with like the Apple Watch on too, and it can look at
yeah.
that stuff. And
And then I've done it, and so it does wake you when you're at a shallow sleep cycle, and it's definitely gentle
yeah.
versus that jarring, like you were in like a super deep dream. And
Yep.
oh my god,
And then you feel groggy because it pulled you out of it.
and
Like,
pissed, yeah.
so
So,
it's
I'm
called
team wake up.
Hatch. We'll link
I'm
that.
team wake
We'll
up
link a lot of
early.
this stuff in the show notes so people can.
Oh, and just alongside that, I've been like pre-making my coffee at night, and I wake up, I light it, I drink some water because that wakes you up too, and
Mhm.
then I light a candle and I meditate for like 3 to 10 minutes, whichever I feel like, and then I come and just kind of look at my day and just kind of like tackle my list and just know what I'm getting into before the child.
Before the child rises.
Well, yeah, because and people might be like, "Don't you have a husband?" Yes, but he leaves the house at 5 a.m. So
Yeah, like he's
he
not
works really
dealing with
early.
all that.
No, he's not here for the morning times.
Yeah. So I think that's a cool way to just like get yourself into the energy of feeling more productive and ready. Um, we used to do, we would, when we were doing our accountability groups, which sometimes we go in like phases where we're like really big on some of that and then we need it less. I think now I feel like our groups have also faded away from that. We used to do them in the mornings is when we try to like get it done and knock it out. But not everybody responds to
You're talking
morning as
about
their
like the
productive
three of
time of the
us.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not everyone is like in the mornings. But I think just starting your morning correctly is really valuable, even if you're not a morning person. Like whatever your morning time is, fine. If you are the 10 to 7 person instead, okay, cool. Like yours just happens to be
Wake
much
up at
earlier.
9. Oh yeah.
Yeah, do whatever makes sense. That was funny when Veronica Solomon talked about how on her episode that she's like not doing meetings, like she won't ever do them before like 9:30 or something, she said.
No, it was like 11. I think it was
It
like
might have
it was
been later than
great.
that. Yeah, I was like, oh, I kind of like that, but I
Can't wait
liked
till
when
I
we did
have.
have our accountability group to be able to do them earliest in the day so that it's done. We've met that obligation, we've set it aside, we've talked it out with someone, who kind of gets what we're doing. And then we were just on Zoom, like logged in doing it. Like set your intention,
Yeah.
work, come back and talk about how it went. And it's like an hour, or an hour and 30 or
Yeah,
whatever
so to
feels
like
comfortable.
formalize what we did, like you can do this with a few people that you now they don't even have to be designers. It could be anybody that's
Everyone's
working
working
from
at
home.
home. Like,
Yeah, so we had to really put some rules together because otherwise we would just chit chat for hours, which is not a productive session.
that's
So
not accountable.
no, so we would book 1 hour and we would do like 10 minutes of like, hi, how are yous?
Yeah.
And then we
And what
would
we're
say,
doing.
and then everyone would state what their intention was. And then we'd go on mute for whatever period was left and come back and say how we did. And there's just something about working with someone else's eyeballs on you.
Yeah. Because you're not like pulling out your phone and scrolling through it and leaving the room and go getting stuff. Like, you're just like, okay, they're here. I'm here. We're all
I'm
just
not
going
going
to
to
sit and
waste
get it
their
done.
time being a dumbass doing.
It's like a short co working session.
It's similar to the Pomodoro thing again. Like you're just like really like putting these boundaries up with a short a period of time and you can just bust it out.
Yeah. So get some people who might also need that. And I'm sure for a lot of non-designers too, like you can totally find, who your friends are who are working at home and just like find a day that works, find a time that works. You don't have to do them every day, but like
No, and
find
we
that
would
session that they
do
can put on their calendar.
yeah, and we would do it for it's not like you're just co-working and like I don't know, processing random emails or whatever. We would make it
It's
so
like a
it's like the
thing you're trying to
kind
do.
of an eat the frog like I'm going to write a blog post, I'm going to knock out this proposal I've been avoiding like
Or like a lot of times for me, it was elevation drawing. Like, okay, sit down, like get in my groove, like 40 minutes
yeah.
of elevation drawing. I can get a lot done. 15 minutes of elevation drawing, I'm like finding my groove still by the time I'm
Yeah.
done with that time. So that was a good one. Um, I don't know. There's a couple more we can like run through. One of yours is like your reading. You're very dedicated to your reading. Claire's really on top of her reading also.
I've been doing that a lot. I think it's partly over the holidays. There was just nothing on TV. Like I think I already
Oh my God,
watched
that's a
everything.
lie. I watched so much TV.
You do? I think I watched it all.
Bridgerton was on.
Okay, I have to try again. Just could not with it. I kept like
It
tuning
is
out.
silly. It is stupid. It is ridiculous. It
No, I thought it was
is.
boring, but maybe I need to try again.
Okay, try it again. Anyway, so there's stuff on TV,
Okay, but
but
well, and over the end of the year, I was like trying to hit my like self-made book reading goal. So I don't know. Also, it's winter. So winter, like I like to like get cozy in my bed early. And then I've just been reading. So and I'm trying to just make that a better habit where I'm just in bed early, partly too. That's why I'm waking up early. Um, because if I'm in bed by 9 and I read, I'm almost guaranteed to be asleep by 10.
and that helps with your motivation for the next day
Yeah.
that you're rested. So it's not just about reading isn't reading to be productive. It can be fun reading and enjoyable and like fulfilling time. So you're rested and energetic to handle other productive tasks.
Most of my reading is fiction escapism.
Girl, we
Um,
need more of that in our lives right now.
but I haven't officially stated this, but I think that I am gonna do one business book a month because
Oh,
I
that's good.
take kind of a I don't know. I'm not good about reading that kind of stuff, but I'm
It
really
can
kind
be
of
hard to convince
focused on it
yourself.
right now.
I
I
like that
feel
idea.
yeah, feel good.
Okay. That's a good productive, like that's a method to like help with state of mind, and it matches up with like we've got to take care of ourselves first if we're going to be able to do it. One of the things I've really been trying to do lately is I put my phone and my laptop on do not disturb. So
Mm-hmm.
notifications stop, everything stops, it shuts off all the pop-ups and everything that happens. And so I use my Mac for my laptop and on my phone. And so I normally love that about Apple, that it connects everything so I can see things back and forth. But it is really frustrating to have stuff constantly popping up. So I've turned off all the notifications by putting it on do not disturb, turn my phone screen over so it's face down, at my desk, and then I just work and get through it. And honestly, it's been alarming to recognize how many small spans of time I can get through without my phone forcing me to be distracted.
Right.
Like it really, you don't, I think in our heads we play down like, oh, I don't look at it that much, but we know that's not true. We can look at the like news reports written about it that talk about how like on average people pick up their phone like dozens
Well,
of
your phone will tell
times.
you now,
Yeah.
call
And
you
so
out.
that's not the business. Like that's not how I'm going to get through my day, is by constantly oh, Instagram, oh, an email came in. Like, no, let me block this off. Let me separate how I'm working, like morning emails, after late afternoon emails before the end of the day, like get through showroom visits first part of the day. Like that just helps me block out my day. Like, okay, no presentations after this time, no this after that time. And I think for me, it's motivating to break it up, to know like, okay, sourcing stuff is done all together. So I don't have to change gears in between. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, there's a lot
not
of
being
different ways of
distracted
doing
during it
that.
makes it easier.
I've also been trying having afternoon meetings instead because then I'm more productive in the morning and don't have to come back and sit at my desk.
Oh, like your day is
Especially
done after the meeting?
yeah. Well, especially if they don't get back from a meeting till like 2 and then you're like ugh.
That's it.
Like especially like with me when my kid comes home at 3, it's like, oh
The day's
god,
done.
my day can end at 3 sometimes and it sucks. So
I
if
think
I
that's good to, I wouldn't have
it just
thought
kind of
about that,
depends about like
where your day is.
yes. So if I
Yeah.
like schedule a meeting at 2 and I come home at 4 and my husband has this our daughter or my mom or whatever, then I have that full half of the day that nobody's bugging me.
Yeah. It's going to be different for everybody because like for me, I really don't want to do anything out of my office on Mondays at all, but definitely no meetings, phone calls, Zoom sessions, consultations, nothing on the first half of a day on a Monday. Like
Oh
it
god, yeah.
ruins my whole week. I need office time at the beginning on Mondays, and I don't do any afternoon meetings on Fridays. Like
Yeah, that's kind
I
of
want the ability to let myself out early on Fridays, like a short school day.
right.
And that motivates me.
And I was just reading one of the books that I'm reading right now. There's like all these quotes from different creative businesses, and she's like, why does anyone schedule a presentation on a Friday afternoon? Like, nothing's gonna happen. Like, no one's like moving the project forward.
There's no motivation to make decisions on a Friday afternoon. Like, well, we'll think about it this
No, and
weekend.
like, you might as well have it on Monday because no one's doing anything.
I I mean, I won't do it on a Monday. I refuse to do that because then for me, I like to do presentation prep or like my final kind of self walkthrough of something the day before the presentation. And so it's still really fresh the next morning. If it's a Monday presentation, that means I have to do that prep over the weekend to be prepared. And that's not happening. Like, I'm not going to do
Yeah.
that. Don't sign me up
Well,
for a Sunday afternoon presentation walkthrough.
yeah, well, I'm like probably building it on the Sunday afternoon, so um
You wouldn't schedule it for a Monday afternoon, but
no.
I like
No, but
doing
I
like
would push it so I have
Wednesdays.
the weekend if I needed it.
I like doing like Wednesdays or Tuesdays because then I can say, great, we have to
Yeah.
be done with this by the end of the week. Like you have, it's not, it's just set aside the time and clients know they have to do it and we need to get it done. So it's helpful. I mean,
Yeah, I'm really trying not to have any meetings Mondays or Fridays, period.
that's the goal. That's the life right there. Like Get your
I
work
think
done, get things
I have
scheduled,
it
get them
pretty
planned.
blocked out on my Acuity, so no one else can book it. Um,
Because
yeah.
boundaries keep our lives together too sometimes. And that's part of productivity, is setting up boundaries to give you what you need. And none of us are perfect. So listeners, trust, we have our days where we also feel like, I worked all day, but nothing is done. Or I have spent all day chasing something and nothing is done. Like those are really frustrating days. They happen. We're not perfect.
No, but I'm also like, I felt like just last year was just a lot of Groundhog Days, and I'm just tired of it. So like I'm just pushing myself to make some progress and hit my
Preach.
goals
Preach.
because I want to be a successful business.
You are a successful business.
I want to feel like I am.
Okay.
Different
I'm
feel it.
it's a different energy that comes with it.
Yeah.
Um like you want, and also at some point what felt like success isn't the definite, like the target keeps moving for a lot of us as creatives and as our businesses grow and change, and the definition of it is going to be a bigger leap every time we do it. So
Yeah, and that's why like I'm just
growing
being
pains.
stronger with my goal setting too, so I know what that means. I'm not just, yeah. What does success mean? It's not the same for everybody.
Right. So everybody out there, you do you, boo.
Do it.
Just do it. Just be productive. This was a good one. I hope that all of you wrote some notes on some stuff you're going to try. We'd love to hear feedback from you on what you do that works or what doesn't work. If you've tried it, why doesn't something like that work for you? Because we're all going to learn from everyone's experiences.
Totally. I'm always up for more productivity hacks.
Let's do it. So until next time.
Stay hot, designers. Thanks for joining this meeting of the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out the show notes there for links to things we talked about today.
We are keeping the conversation going on Instagram, so don't forget to like, comment, and follow at Hot Young Designers Club.
You can find Rebecca on Instagram at Studio Plum.
And you can find Shaun at Renstead Interiors. That's WRENSTED. We got to do something. We got to be productive.
Gotta be
Let's
starting
be
something.
productive, be productive.
Reproduction. And you're not going to want to miss Rebecca's new invention, the Zoomiform.
Sorry, let's do it over.